Peace is the path to the development of a nation. Let peace reign. On the news this evening, court strikes out suit on budget representation, lawmakers' defection. Embattled Rivers Labour Party chairman dismisses report of a suspension. Motorists raise concerns over increasing petrol prices in Port Harcourt. On the foreign scene, UN court says Israeli occupation of Palestinian territories is illegal. I am Kalada Kurubatubo. Good evening. We will go for a quick commercial break and then the news. Now the news. An appeal court in Port Harcourt has struck out an appeal filed by elder statesman Anab Sarah Igbe and 9 others against the judgment of Rivers State High Court. Recall that the lower court, presided over by Justice Chiwendu Nwogu, struck out their suit seeking interpretation of the Constitution on whether President Bola Tinubu has the legal right to direct Governor Siminalayi Fubara to represent the 2024 budget before the Martin Amaewhule-led lawmakers following their defection to the APC and to declare their seats vacant, among other issues, for lack of jurisdiction. The 3-man panel of the appeal court, led by Justice Elfrida Dawodu, struck out the suit on the grounds that the State High Court lacks jurisdiction to even entertain the matter. The judge insisted that what Anab Sarah Igbe and others did was a mere academic exercise. As you may know, Anab Sarah Igbe and others had approached the appeal court seeking to have the chief judge of Rivers State reassign the case to another judge. Meanwhile, veteran actress Hilda turned politician Hilda Dokubo said the Labour Party will not withdraw its court case challenging the defection of the Martin Amaewhule-led lawmakers. Mrs. Dokubo said this on Nigeria Info FM's Hard Facts while refuting reports that she's been suspended as Labour Party chairman in Rivers State.
There is no truth in whatever lie. I am not suspended. I was not suspended. You know, we took the 27 defected PGP members to court. And in the last 2 weeks, we have been in court with them and they have been trying, sending emissaries and asking that I pull the case out of court. And I have told them that for the sake of Rivers children unborn, I will not do that. We need to protect our state from predators.
She also said the party under her leadership will participate in the 2024 local government elections.
We cannot have people who have no respect for law, have no respect for order, to sit down in a place and blatantly refuse to respect others. I know that this is where all this nonsense is coming from. This is a distraction. They're so afraid and worried that we are about to clean up this state. Will hands down the local government elections.
In the meantime, women groups from the southern region are urging the National Assembly to amend sections of the Electoral Act 2022 for adequate representation and participation of women in governance and politics in Nigeria. These women, comprising civil society organizations, female politicians, and NGOs from Rivers, Delta, and Bayelsa states, among others, made the call at the South-South Zonal Legislative Interactive Session of the Joint Committee on Electoral Matters held in Port Harcourt.
For the Senate, on every state, there should be one seat for a woman, and then in the House of Rep, there should be 2 representatives for women, and the State House of Assembly, 3 representatives for women, a training program to build the capacity of women to come out and vie for elective positions.
And we also want the replacement of PVC with the NEEM.
Where will our women get the money to be part of political violence, religious and cultural barriers? These are most of the challenges.
If women take out time from their work at home to go and vote, and election materials are not there, it's very likely that they will go back home and not return to vote.
Moving on, the Rivers State Commissioner for Budget and Economic Planning, Peter Mide, says the country must increase productivity to match the new national minimum wage. Dr. Mide said this while addressing worries that the recent wage increase might cause higher prices for goods. Speaking in Nigeria Info's Morning Crossfire, Dr. Mide stressed that states should boost agricultural production to help prevent a hike.
Workers have suffered as a result of hardship in the economy. So I think the minimum wage increase needs to be proportional in terms of increase in output. So I think I will call it, say, look, now that this has increased, then we also need to increase our productivity. So once productivity in terms of agriculture and other sensitive sectors of the economy are enhanced, then we are expecting corresponding output. And once those outputs begin to trickle in, then this increase will not make a lot of difference.
On his part, the Rivers State Secretary of the Nigeria Labour Congress, Elvis Oraka, said the Congress will only speak about enforcing the new minimum wage after meeting with its leadership.
If you had my president, Government Joe Ajero, he said they would take it back to the Congress because we gave them a mandate to go and discuss. And until they return back to us, we want to hear it officially from him. So until he comes back and address the other, they'll give us guidelines on what to be regarding the implementation. Part of the information we're expecting from the national is why I said just let's leave it till when we hear from them.
As you may know, President Bola Tinubu, after meeting with the leadership of organized labor yesterday, approved 70,000 naira as the new minimum wage for Nigerian workers. In another development, some motorists have raised concerns over the rising cost of petrol in Port Harcourt. It comes as independent marketers around the Rumosi and Rumokoro axis sold petrol this morning for between 780 naira to 830 naira per litre, while NNPC filling stations sold for 805 naira per litre. Motorists in an interview with our correspondent called on organized labor to intervene and ensure petrol prices are stabilized.
They may sell them like that time 750 per litre, but as I'm talking to you, some they say 830 naira now, some they say 810, some 800. If you increase price, passenger they ready to carry like waka reach where they go. Price will they carry that time as far this Eastway Road is concerned. Now still what they carry now.
The early morning, the time when it was falling at 788 naira, but now this afternoon that says 790. It's affecting our work too. We hustle from morning to evening, use the home money, go buy for and go home with nothing. Labor should, this one is not something that we say they want to do protest and tomorrow there will another thing will come up, they will say no, they will cancel it. See the way this thing is going up, maybe tomorrow night they will still make it add another 100 naira.
Before it calm down, I believe everything will calm down.
Elsewhere, some indigents of Abua Odwa local government area in Rivers State are hopeful the council in the area will rehabilitate the Emelego Community School. It follows the Supreme Court's decision to grant full financial autonomy to local governments. In an interview with our correspondent, they urged local leaders to also construct the Auda Abua Road and provide a functional healthcare system in Odwa.
the educational sector in Abuja Udwas itself is dead. The primary school has no desk for children to sit on and learn. There are no teachers for them. Volunteers are not even coming again because they're not getting anything from the community. The Odom is up of 12 communities, and there's no single health center that's actually very, very functional. We managed to rush our kids, our parents to Bayelsa, Yenagoa, because it's the closest place for us to access health care.
Predominantly, we are farmers. Over the years, we have been experiencing flooding. Adada, Emelego, Obuloma, Akane, the end of every flooding year, our people are 100 times more poorer.
Ahoda Abua Road, that is the only road that leads to the local government currently. The road is in a deplorable state as we speak. Water and electricity, these are basics.
Similarly, some residents of Port Harcourt City local government area are looking forward to the construction of internal roads in the Borokiri axis and the installation of streetlights in all areas of the Diob axis.
As they have gotten the financial autonomy, they should brace up and take responsibility and bring joy to the people. He should have a program of empowerment to empower the youth, to teach the youth skills, how to use their hand to produce things, which will in return bring us out from this consumption to production that we are talking about in Nigeria.
My one town axis would be the road. There's the inner part of Borokiri. If you're going from Soundfield, maybe from Navy Market or from normal Soundfield, if you're going in, there's still certain parts of the roads that need to be attended to. There's also flooding most times in that region.
Places like Diob has a reputation, so I think that the street lights will be needed there. Very, very important, for the security of people who ply that way. Mostly solar power street lamps.
As you may know, local governments will receive 20.6% of the country's monthly revenue allocations directly into their accounts, while the states receive 26.72% and the federal government retains 52.68%. Still to come, NDLEA intercepts fresh codeine shipments at Onne Port, Rivers State. Stay tuned as we go for another quick commercial break.
This is the news on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
Welcome back. Now, the rest of the newscast. An educationist, Ben Inyewisara, has raised concerns over the 16-year admission benchmark for tertiary institutions in Nigeria. Dr. Inyewisara, a lecturer in the Department of Education and Foundations, University of Port Harcourt, in an interview with correspondent Emeka Otuka, said underage students often struggle with social adaptation and behavioral issues due to their lack of maturity. He advised parents not to force their underage children into school.
Council warmly felicitate with our dear God.
Truth be told, the fact is that when children come into any school system as underage, at the age where they are not supposed to enter, there are going to be problems. And most of those problems are associated to psychological and social problems. Their ability to adapt, socially, their ability to adapt environmentally. It's not all about mental age. Chronological age will always matter, in the schooling process. Some of them are easily bullied. If people are coming to them, trying to initiate them into any group that they ought not to, because they don't have that age maturity, there's the likelihood that they will be cowed into joining such groups.
Dr. Inyewisara urged the federal government to strictly enforce the national policy on education, which requires primary education for children aged 6 to 12.
The national policy on education is clear about this, that if you are in school before the age of 6, that is early childhood and primary and pre-primary school, you ought to enter primary school system beginning from age 6. It is clearly stipulated in the national policy of education, and the implication is that you will finish at the age of 12 and go into secondary school. If we follow strictly the provisions of the national policy of education, we wouldn't be where we are, arguing for and against the age when children should be in school, because they ought to finish school by the age of 18, and by that time they are qualified to enter university.
Recall that the Minister of Education, Tahir Mamman, approved that heads of tertiary institutions can admit candidates who are 16 years old into the institutions of their choice. Operatives of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, have intercepted another batch of 7 containers bearing over 1 million bottles of codeine syrup worth 9.8 billion naira at the Onne ports. It comes barely 3 weeks after seizing 6,125 cartons of the same product worth 7.35 billion naira at the same port. A statement by the Director, Media and Advocacy, NDLEA Headquarters, Abuja, Femi Babafemi, said the seizure made yesterday is the 4th and last set of such consignments that have been under the watch list of the agency's Maritime Special Operations Unit targeting team. Let's take a look at the international scene.
And now we bring you news from around the world.
The International Court of Justice, ICJ, says Israel's occupation of Palestinian territories is against international law. The UN's top court said Israel should stop settlement activity in the occupied West Bank and East Jerusalem and end its illegal occupation of those areas and the Gaza Strip as soon as possible. On the news this evening, you heard an appeal court in Port Harcourt has struck out the suit by Anab Sarah Igbe and 9 others on budget representation and lawmakers' defection. The embattled chairman of the Labour Party in Rivers State, Hilda Dokubo, says alleged suspension from the party is not true. Motorists have raised concerns over increasing petrol prices in Port Harcourt. On the foreign scene, the International Court of Justice says Israeli occupation of Palestinian territories is illegal. The news was edited by Martha Okere-Inkem. To reach the news team, send an SMS or WhatsApp to 0808 721 7215. I am Kalada Kurubatubo. Good evening. Do stay tuned.